So to start 2025 with my wholesale company, my only marketing platform was inbound marketing. And I did that for the first 4 months of the year. And to be honest with you, it didn't go that well. I was just not getting enough leads. It wasn't a good return on investment. So in April, I shut it off. I shut off all my inbound marketing, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do to, fill up my time and to get leads. And that's where I ran into iSpeedToLead. And I heard of it before, but I was like, all right, let me give it a try for a couple months. It's been 8 months. So it's been more than a couple months. And for the last 8 months, I've only been doing iSpeedToLead PPL leads. And iSpeedToLead, if you aren't familiar, it's kind of like a platform where you just buy leads. Like you click on the leads you want to buy, and then you buy the leads. And I've bought over like 800, almost 900 leads now. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how many deals I've done, all the KPIs, if it was worth it, if I recommend it, if I stopped, or like what I'm doing now, and what I plan on doing in 2026. This video isn't sponsored or anything. This is just like an honest review. If you're familiar with my channel, I've done these before, giving you my honest feedback of this company, if I recommend it, if you should do it, stuff like that. With that mentioned, I do have one shameless plug, and it's if you do want to start using iSpeedToLead, I do have an affiliate in the description below. You can click it. I think there pays you or something as well, but then it also pays me, so that's a way of giving back, I guess. But that's the only thing I'm plugging. This video isn't sponsored. iSpeedToLead doesn't know I'm making this video. I don't even have a connection in their company, and I just want to go over my experience. This video might be a little lengthy. I don't know how long it's going to be, because I'm literally going to show you exactly like how my campaigns have performed, like number for number how they perform. So yep, let's get into it. I hope this provides you value. I'm gonna screen share and show you what the platform looks like. This isn't a video demo or anything. Like I said, this is unsponsored, just showing you for reference, I guess. I wasn't even expecting to do this, but I feel like it is relevant now that I think about it. So you click here in the local feed, and you could see like leads and stuff. I have my own filters. I guess you could copy my filters, but don't buy the same leads as me. I don't know. But you could copy my filters and stuff. But basically what you do is if you have Coupon Club, which we're going to get into this more, it's $200 a month. You could buy any of these leads for $29. So you can see I already bought this one. I didn't buy this one. These are like literally like I was in here this morning buying leads. So it's $29 to buy a lead, and then you can like look at it. So you could see repairs needed, remodel. I don't know why I didn't buy this one. Probably was decent. You could see 2 orders. Now this is relevant because we're going to go over this later, and then you can also see the date. Usually when I'm buying leads, I'm looking at 2 things. I'm looking at seller motivation and repairs needed. I like it when there's repairs needed. I like it when there's seller motivation. So you can see this one has a lot of repairs needed. You can see that there's 4 orders on it, and you can see it was sourced 2 days ago from the recording time of this video. So that's just how that works. If I click on my CRM, this is like all the leads I've purchased, just for reference that I've actually bought leads on here. No, it's not listed. And because I know by the ones that are listed. So this is if it's listed on MLS. And then as you could see here, 866. And then literally like this morning I was buying leads. So you can see the leads I bought. You can see those refunding leads, which we're going to get into as well. And that, like I'm actively using this. So this isn't just like some BS like review. Like this is, an active user, I guess. Now I'm going to go over the exact KPIs of the results, but I just want to yap here for a minute. So to preface this before I get into the KPIs, I would just want to say that I don't think a lot of people would show you these numbers, especially when they're not like the craziest numbers, because when people make videos, they usually like to like brag or show how much money they're making or doing so well. This is just like the honest results of these campaigns that I've done. And then also, I do want to go over some pros and cons of the software. This is from my experience in 8 months. And 8 months is a long time. So like I've pretty much experienced it fully. So some of the pros, good refund policy. If you saw on the screen share, I had some refunds that I was like actively doing, got approved. The website is very easy to navigate, and it's easy to buy leads, which is good. The customer service is like solid so far, I guess. Haven't had any issues, at least. They are always offering like bundles with free bonus money. So if you buy like $1,500 worth of like money, or like $2,000, you get like additional 500 or $1,000 of like bonus money. That's pretty cool. I looked at other PPL companies, and none of the other ones were doing that. So that's just like free money that you can get, like free leads basically. I like that. On the cold call leads, which we'll get into later, but on the cold call leads that you can buy there, they have cold call summaries. So you could see what the cold call is about before you buy it, to see if you even want to buy it. The system grades the leads with like a letter. One thing that I do like is there's a variety of different lead sources. So there's like PPL leads, there's Facebook leads, there's cold call leads, just a bunch of different like lead sources, which is cool. Have a nice variety of stuff. Now let's get into the cons. And the first con is going to be kind of a conspiracy, which is funny in the context of this video, like a conspiracy theory about like a marketing platform for real estate people. But it's just something that I've noticed, and this could easily be debunked. I just want to preface this that I have no proof behind this, but I think that the lead source date, so like the date on the leads, isn't always accurate. And I think they like resurface older leads. And the reason I say this is because I've bought a lot of leads that would say like, oh, this was sourced on a cold call 2 days ago. And then I'll call the seller and the seller will be like, oh, we sold it 6 months ago. Or they'll say like, oh, I never spoke to a cold caller, or I never filled out like a Facebook form to sell my house recently. Stuff like that. It could be the seller's lying. Experience, I've seen like a lot of sellers say, oh, I haven't filled out any forms. What are you talking about? Or I haven't done it. I haven't spoken to any cold callers recently, or I sold the house a long time ago. And it's just like, how am I buying a cold call lead for a seller when they sold the house 6 months ago? Because if you cold called that guy, he would say, no, I'm not selling. Like I already sold it 6 months ago. It seemed weird to me. Another theory that I have is I think the order count isn't accurate. So if you saw like on the screenshot I did at the beginning, it shows like how many orders or how many other people bought it. I don't think that that's always accurate, because for example, I'll buy a lead with like 0 orders. I'll be like, okay, cool. I buy the lead, I'm the first order, but then I'll call the seller like immediately after, and they'll be like, oh, I already spoke to 10 people in the last 2 days. I don't know what's going on. Like, why are so many people calling me? Okay, that doesn't make sense because it says I'm the only order, but now the seller is telling me that a lot of other people have reached out. I've seen like really good like leads on there, like a house in Miami that's like needs a full renovation with like 2 orders on it. And I'm like, that seems impossible. Like you would think that like it would have more. If that makes sense. Kind of just me rambling right now, but I don't think that that number is accurate. I don't know what the real number is. This could be easily debunked. It could just be a coincidence that like other companies are reaching out to them and they're getting other cold calls at the same time. I just have a feeling that every lead is bought more than what the website says. Other cons I have, and this isn't something that is anything wrong with iSpeedToLead, it's more of just the nature of PPL, is that they're just super competitive because they're just being sold to so many people. I consider each lead like a gladiator battle in like a coliseum, where it's like 10 wholesalers or 10 investors just like all fighting for like a rapport with the seller, and the seller is like up there is like the emperor, like I like this one, or like if they like block your number, then it's like he dies. I don't know, but like they're just so competitive, and that's the main downside, I would say. Another potential con, and this was a huge con for me at the beginning, is that most of the leads were like probably at least half of them are cold call leads. And at first I hated this, and I was like, what the heck, why are there cold call leads on here? I'm not going to buy cold call leads. Like I want to buy PPL leads. I want to buy Facebook leads. Funny enough, the biggest and the best deals that I've done from iSpeedToLead were actually cold call leads. So like now I love the cold call leads. I think that's funny. It was a con for me, but now I think it's a pro. Like I actually like that they have cold call leads and like a variety of lead sources. And the last one is also not really an issue with their system, although they could probably vet the leads more, is that a lot of the leads have wrong information, which is a little frustrating. Now, I will say that they have a pretty solid refund policy, so it's not like I'm losing money on this. Like it's not like I buy lead and the number is wrong and it's not the real seller and I'm losing money on that lead. I can refund it. So it's not like an issue. It's just a little frustrating and like a little time consuming to do the refunds. So overall, just to sum up the pros and cons, there's a lot of rumors about iSpeedToLead being like a scam, or if you just look it up online, people will be complaining online about them. And in my opinion, you're getting exactly what you're paying for. You're paying for cheap leads. Assuming you're doing like the coupon club, you're paying $29 for leads. You can't expect them to be like exclusive or just like really good sellers. Like you're paying $29. It's pretty low. So at the cost of you paying a low amount for the leads, they're going to be more competitive. You could pay more for leads and not have them be as competitive, but if you're paying $29 for leads, or whatever, under $50 for leads, like it's just kind of expected in my opinion. And I like the software because it does what I want. And what I want is I want to be able to get leads to talk to motivated sellers. And although it's super competitive, although some of the leads suck, I'm talking to motivated sellers. Every lead channel has its pros and cons. And with that one said, I've done deals with this. There's deals to be done. I'm going to be going over the KPIs now. So this is from the months of April to October because November is not finished. And obviously we're not in December yet as of the time of recording this video. To start it off, these are my numbers on an average month of what I'm purchasing. So I'm getting 116 new leads. I'm getting 86 of those new leads turn into net leads. And a net lead is a lead that I talk to the owner. So if I'm talking to the owner, that's a net lead. Of those, I'm getting 47 qualified leads. So a qualified lead is a lead that is actually motivated to sell. It's discounting. If they're refund leads, then they don't count in there. If they're dead leads, like immediately I call them and they want way over market value, they don't count in there. So those are like the real leads. The qualified leads are my real leads of that bunch. So far 47 qualified leads on an average month. I have 18 appointments on an average month. So I think that's around 38% of qualified leads turn into appointments. It's not bad. And then I have 6 offers on an average month, which is 31% of my appointments turn into offers. And then I have 2 contracts on an average month, which is 36% of offers turn into contracts. Now this is on average. And during that time period between April and October, I had months or a month where I had 0 contracts. So kind of factors in the 0 and maybe lowers it a little bit. I have 1 sold deal a month, which means 43% of my contracts turn into sold deals. So that's about half of my deals get canceled, which is pretty bad. And that is mainly because I was doing a lot of deals in like rural parts and like I just couldn't sell them. That was at the beginning of my like iSpeedToLead journey, is I was like buying all the rural ones and I was having a hard time selling them, so I stopped that. So that percentage has increased a bit since then, but that percentage is still factoring in like at the beginning part. So that's the reason for that. And I have a 100% close rate on sold deals. Those are these stats. So they're going to be right here. Write them down. Maybe that's what you strive for. Maybe you strive to beat those, like whatever, but that's what I'm looking at. Now we're going to get into more statistics. These are the KPIs of what to expect. So 56 net leads per contract, 23 qualified leads per contract that are getting refunded or dead don't count in there. So it's not bad, 56 to 1 contract. Now I should be expecting 100 new leads per closed deal. So if I want to get a closed deal, I should buy 100 of them. So if you're new, don't look for a closed deal until you bought at least 100. That's what I'm kind of saying here. I think when I was cold calling, like even at the prime of cold calling in like 2020 and 2021, it was in like the 70 range. So that's not terrible. The cost per a qualified lead in my system is $51. So you see that's more than $29 because that factors in dead leads and refunds. So $51 per qualified lead. The cost per an appointment is $164. The cost per a contract is $1,100, so $1,100, and the cost per a deal is $2,100. So if you're putting under $2,000 into iSpeedToLead and you're expecting something, or just any marketing platform really, you might not have put in enough to get a deal. I mentioned this earlier, so we're going to go over refunds now, and I think they have a pretty solid refund policy. I'm not super familiar with like other platforms and their refund policies, but I assume most are pretty much the same. So I haven't had any issues with that. I also don't have a maximum. I spoke to somebody, I forget which one they were using. Maybe, I don't want to say a company and then it's like wrong, but they were using a company and they had like a maximum amount of refunds that you could do per month. I haven't experienced any issues like that. On an average month, I refund 45 leads, and that's about 36% of lead purchases. So 1 of every 3 leads that I purchase on this platform, I'm refunding. And it's kind of a lot. If you think about it, it's actually more than I expected, to be honest with you. Now, ideally, I would like to do 0 refund. If like you would ask me like, why do you refund so many leads? I would like to never refund a lead, but like I'm pretty fair with my refunds. If like the seller isn't answering or they're just not the right seller, they already sold their house, then I'm refunding it. And the last thing we're going to discuss is return on investment. Now, if I'm spending $2,100 to get a contract, am I getting a return on investment? So using those same numbers I said before, And one thing to factor in is that 2,100 includes like my CRM and payroll and stuff. So that's not like pure iSpeedToLead money. So it's a little bit inflated than maybe it should be. But in these numbers, let's just assume that it is pure iSpeedToLead money, and we're using the cost per that I went over before. If I'm putting $2,100 into the system, I should expect 41 qualified leads, and I should expect one closed deal. And let's say an average closed deal is $10,000. That means that with $2,100 invested, you should expect a return on investment of about 4.7%. So ROAS 4.7. Now that assumes that like you're good at closing and you're buying, leads, and you could follow up with them, because a lot of these like you do need to follow up with. I've had deals where I'll buy it and within days close it, but I've had a few that like I'm still following up with that I bought in July. So just something to keep in mind. And to answer some questions at the beginning, I don't plan on stopping this platform. I am going to keep doing it. I do plan on bringing back some inbound marketing campaigns. Again, I'm not going to be doing like a cold calling campaign because I'm getting my cold call leads here kind of, but I am going to be doing my own marketing campaigns again. But I've seen a pretty good return. And how I kind of look at it is I look at it as like a cheap way of just getting more leads in my system, supplementing leads in my system so my team and I stay busy. It actually gets like a nice return. I was looking through my system. I've done 4 deals with iSpeedToLead, and I bought the lead and within 2 days got it under contract. I have some other leads that like I bought in like May or June that I'm still following up with that might turn into deals soon. So that's pretty cool. Don't just buy them, and if they don't close, like get rid of them. Like treat them like normal leads, because these are motivated sellers. You can weed out the other wholesalers by following up with them and like staying in front of the sellers. I've done deals in the past that I've followed up with like for 3 years before. Those are good deals. So my recommendation, I do recommend this lead source. However, I only recommend it with proper expectations, because you're going to be talking to sellers. You're not going to be getting like cursed out, where if you're cold calling, you're going to get cursed out. With these, like these people already were cold called. I would rather like have these leads than have like a cold calling campaign. I don't have to manage anybody. I don't have to manage a marketing team. I've seen some other PPL companies starting to do like these cheap leads. So I might explore one of those too and like see how it goes. But I've made money. Like I've gotten actually a pretty solid return, and I have a couple of deals in escrow that should be a pretty good deals that like I've been working from this. So that's my experience. Once again, not a sponsored video. This is just my honest opinion. Hope this helps, I guess, and use my affiliate.